Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I'm your host, Mikey, and as always, riding with me, Shotgun, my boy Tommy. What's going on, brother?
What is going on, Mr. Mikey? Happy Friday to Bill's Mafia out there. We have made it, baby.
We have. Yeah. And we'll get into this, but did you watch that Thursday night game?
I did. It was looking like the Saints were going to get rolled.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Saints winded up doing a good comeback. And I think we were texting back and forth. I was at work. And man, I feel so bad for that. I think it was their tight end that dropped the
pass in the back.
Zone.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, it hit him. You got to make that catch. And of course, they're loving it, showing him on the sideline just crying, basically. I'm like, poor guy, man. Like, it wasn't a Super Bowl or anything, but damn, dude, you know, that's a big moment for that guy, and he blew it.
Yeah, he did. Well, I mean, it's lost the game.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's tale of two halves. The first half, the Jaguars are doing what they want. In the second half, they had at one point in the fourth quarter, they had like 12 passing yards in the second half.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But what that also tells you is when you look at the state, and this is why I brought that up, the state of the offensive plays around the league is not great right now. I will tell you, after watching the Saints and the Jags play offense, I liked what the Jags did in the first half. A lot of motion, misdirection. It's the things that I've been asking for the Bills to do. And then the Saints, man, that was hard to watch. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it was rough.
It made me give a little bit more respect to the Bills offense for the fact of even when it looks clunky, it doesn't look like that.
Right.
That was bad.
It was. They had nothing going on.
3rd and 2s throwing 30-yard jump balls.
Yeah, like, I don't understand that.
When you can't, they were 1 for 9 on 3rd down at one point, and it was 3rd and 2. And you have Taysom Hill who can get you a first down, and he was getting 3, 4, 5 yards a pop running, and you're throwing freaking fade balls.
Yeah, once again, you know, coordinators trying to do too much when it's really just a simple play that you don't need to do too much. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes you can do those plays if your offense is in a rhythm, right? But if you're not in a rhythm, going for a deep ball on a 3rd and 1 is silly. It's nonsense, right? Especially when you're trying to get points. You're not in a rhythm. You're trying to get the chains moving. And we're guilty of that. We've been guilty of that as well. I don't think we do it as much under Ken Dorsey, but Dable used to do that a lot too. The 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s, a good 25-yard pass. Like, it's stupid. Like, it's nonsense. But I feel like I don't think Ken does that as much. I'll give him credit for that, but he does call dumbass plays regardless of 3rd and 1. They're just not that dumb, but yeah.
Yep. So what's going on? Let's hit people in chat. We have Spears Bill Talks in there. Jason in.
What up, Jacob?
You know, Nebel's in the house. Beth, woo, she got here early.
I know. Early time. What is going on, Beth?
Justin in the house. What's going on? And then Nebel comes in and says, "I'll be offense coordinator if Ken Dorsey doesn't get this shit." Yeah. You know, listen. I bashed Ken Dorsey a lot over the last week.
Yeah, me too, man.
I hope. I don't trust him, but I can hope that they figure it out. That's all I could. That's all I got. Because he's not going anywhere. Sean McDermott flat out said it. He's not going anywhere. They asked him, "Have you thought about it?" And he said, "Absolutely not." So all I can do as a Bills fan is hope they figure it out and they start moving the chains and getting in a rhythm. Get Josh in a rhythm. We've talked about this for years. Some short, easy passes. Get him in a rhythm. Like last week, we had 2 third downs and broken plays, and we were going 25 yards downfield, and they tripped us and off the field. It's that first down. Get it and get him.
Ken Dorsey has a fever.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
But what's his only prescription? More shotgun draws.
But it's not just a shotgun draw.
No, I know. It's just funny.
I went and watched, freaking shotgun draws. I saw your thing, by the way. That was super funny.
Oh, the short that I did? Oh, like, what is he thinking here?
Yep. It's Cover One did a really good job of breaking it down. Anton and the team did a fantastic job of breaking it down and explaining what they were doing and why they were doing it. I don't like the play call on the goal line. And the worst part about it is, and I didn't realize this, is they ran it 3 straight times down there. And the last time they were ready for it. They did it at 3 separate formations too. So it's just like, come on. Like,
by the way, Jason wanted me to mention, and we're going to get to it. The Bills Mafia on Twitter, once again, talking about the trade deadline. As you know, the trade deadline is creeping up. 31st, Halloween, 4 o'clock.
I have that as one of the agenda topics.
Yeah, so we're Jason, we got you. I got you covered, and we'll get to that in a minute as soon as we get over with our news and all that. But I got you.
Yep. So my question for you, Tommy, is, and really for the chat, is when it comes to this Bills offense, are you at the breaking point of blow it up, or are you like, okay, let's just see if they can slowly grow this? After watching the league last week and into this week, I'll tell you, I have walked back a little bit from the edge of the cliff, and I'm like, okay, I just want to see him grow, because I've seen some bad Matt Canada, the Saints offensive coordinator. There's some bad offensive coordinators out there. Maybe Dorsey doesn't suck, and he just needs to figure his stuff out.
Yeah, I don't think he's like, I've never
I said
on record saying I don't. I think he's a smart dude. I think he's raw. You know what I mean? And that may be hurting this team a little bit. The fact that he's so new to the job, and he's still trying to figure out things. And it's going to, when you're trying to figure things out, just like in any new job, you're going to make mistakes. It's not going to look pretty. And he's been, mind you, he had a year under his belt already. This is now 6 weeks in. We're going to week 7. You would expect by this point a little bit better, play calling from Ken Dorsey. And that's the part where I haven't seen yet. But I don't think it's the worst either. I just think he's, and I'll keep saying, I think he's still using that Dable playbook, dummy down. He wants to perfect the basic plays, and he's taking away like from the other play. He's not using any other plays. He just wants this offense to be perfect in the most basic, basic play designs. And it's like, you can't just, we're past that point. I feel like, and also too, I feel like he struggles with knowing each player's strengths and what they can do. You know what I mean? Like he knows Stephon Diggs, and I don't even know if he has to know Stephon Diggs, because Josh Allen knows Stephon Diggs, but he doesn't know like Trent Sherfield's strengths. He doesn't know Deontay Hardy's strengths. He still doesn't really know how to mix Dalton Kincaid into the offense. So that's where I think he's struggling, because it's like, if he's not getting a better route tree for Dalton Kincaid, let's say, it's going to be the same results, Mikey, over and over. We're going to see the same Dalton Kincaid routes, right? You have to start mixing it up. Same with Trent Sherfield, same with Deontay Hardy. That's where I think the disconnect is with Ken Dorsey in this offense. And, Yeah, somebody said in the chat earlier, and I've mentioned this since week 1. The offense just doesn't seem to be having fun out there. It's just like they're just confused and kind of like this, always in shell shock. They just don't. It just doesn't come easy, and they just go on the sideline even after scoring. It just seems like it was so hard to score, and they just don't seem to be having a good time. I think the defense is having a good time. The defense is feeling it, right? You know what I mean? They're in a groove. They got their mojo. I just think the offense has lost that. And how do you get it back, Mikey? You get it back by going out there and beating the team's ass. And they haven't done that in a while since the Miami game. They need to come out in this weekend's game against the Patriots. They need to show better. That's how you get the offense back on track. You know what I mean? Like, get their mojo back, because I kind of saw it in that Miami game. That's why we talked after that. We said, oh shit, okay, maybe Ken Dorsey's found his rhythm now. And then boom, right back to where it was, in the start of the season. So we'll see. I don't know, Mikey. I just think right now Ken Dorsey's just still trying to find his way as an OC, man. And the thing is, how much patience does Bill's Mafia have with him? And then obviously the most important thing is how much patience does Sean McDermott have with this offense struggling, because Sean McDermott's doing his job, which is defensive coordinator, keeping the scores low, giving the offense an opportunity, right? But if the offense is struggling week after week, right, how long do you go with it? You know what I mean? Even though he was emphatic by saying no, he's not changing play callers, we all know that can change. We all know it can change.
Yeah.
So.
Trick Simpson says we're missing a legit slot receivers. We should go after Hunter Renfrow. I would be 100% okay with going after Hunter Renfrow. My only problem is I've seen nothing that tells me Dorsey would know how to use his talents.
Well,
because we have a bigger version of that in Kincaid.
Exactly.
And then this is what I'm actually talking to Triggs here, Tommy, not so much what you're saying. But
no, I'm just agreeing with you.
Kincaid is that route runner that we brought in to do those type of things, and we're just not using them that way. So although I would be happy with Renfrow, I think we have that type of zone beater on our team that they just don't use currently.
That's exactly my point, Mikey. When I say that's where I think Dorsey's struggles the most, it's not even really so much the play calling. It's knowing your player's strengths. And it's like, look what Dalton Kincaid did in college. Look how good he looked in training camp. Bro, I saw Josh Allen going deep plenty of times to Dalton Kincaid. Way different route runs and routes for Dalton Kincaid. And this whole season, since Dalton Kincaid's been in the mix, it's all been short and underneath passes. Nothing else. And it's like, dude, you got a guy that, from everything I heard in training camp, was unguardable. A guy that was beating, most of the DBs. Josh Allen was already having a connection with him. And what the hell happened? Like, are you scared to use, to see what he could? I don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden now it's like, no, we got to back that off. We can't. He's not ready yet. Well, how do you know he's not ready yet? You're not even giving him the opportunity.
Yeah.
I think he has to. I think that's where I'm saying, like, kind of like when they handcuff you know what, too, Mikey? I kind of feel like Josh Allen's a little handcuffed right now, too. Or, you know what I mean? And you can't. Did you hear the Von Miller comment? And I almost was like, that's odd.
Which one?
So Von Miller had his, I forget what day it was, Tuesday maybe or Wednesday, when they did the player conference or whatever. Yeah. And Von was like, look, I want Josh playing like the Josh I knew when I signed here, where he's just free. And hey, if he throws 6 interceptions, it is what it is. But I know Josh is just doing, everything he can. Like, Josh is being free basically and just making plays and fucking just going crazy, like being what he saw. You know what I mean? And now, of course, I don't want 6 interceptions, but I understand what he's saying. It was just odd that he brung that up, like almost saying like, we need that Josh back. Whatever this is going on right now is not what
almost like they handcuffed him.
You know what I mean? Right.
Because he doesn't run. He doesn't run.
Right. He's hesitant on everything now.
Yep. Yeah.
He's taking shorter stuff more and more, which is I'm okay with, but at the same time, it's like we miss the old Josh. Like, and I'm okay with a couple turns. Who gives a fuck You know what I mean? Just be a little bit smarter with the ball, slide a little bit more, but you could still be Josh. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't handcuff him. So I don't know. And who handcuffed him? Is it McDermott? Right?
Yeah.
Is it Dorsey
yeah,
and McDermott? You know what I mean? Is it a combo of things? I think the players, like I said, when Von said that, I almost feel like the players are like, because if it's Von thinking that, who's a defender, the offense is like, come on, man, let this kid do what he does best. Stop like that. This is not what he does best. What he does best is when he's, out there fucking hurdling motherfuckers and taking chances and risk, and it's okay. You know what I mean? But let's see.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Spen and then some of the contact was talking about Davis, and Davis isn't bad. The problem is he's had crucial either drop or fumble, or like he hasn't stepped up in that crucial moment yet, and that's hurting us. He's costing us more than he's helping us right now in those crucial moments, third down moments. That could move the chains or get us moving down. It's just it's hard. It's hard.
I don't. Sorry, I don't know.
I've seen FG.
Seen this guy
yep.
before. Okay.
Yep, FG's been here.
Appreciate it, bud.
He's one of our loyals.
Oh, okay.
So, Spen comes in and says, I think Josh running is taken away from the smoothest part. Yeah, Josh not running, I think it has taken away a lot of it.
100%.
We need Tarzan,
100%.
not Jane. I think they've beat into his head, just play from the pocket, throw short, let your playmakers do it. So he's doing it, and it's bogging down our offense. He's doing exactly what they've asked him to.
Even when he gets to the outside and there's an opportunity to run. And I always like it because what I know is usually he makes that decision quick. He's either going to do it or he's going to wait a quick second and then throw the ball. You know what I mean? And he's been so hesitant that what happens is when he finally makes his choice, the defenders are already on him. So it's a very little gain if he chooses to run at that point, Mikey. And if he passes, it's just been a tad off, right? Like, because he's just waiting too long to make that choice. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on there. He has to, like I said, but it could be him too. We don't know that. It could be Josh just trying to. He was too tough on himself after week one. He's just like, I don't want to cost the team. You know what I mean? It could be in his head as well. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We're gonna see it against the Patriots. Beth comes in and says, speaking of Kincaid, what's his designation for this week? There's no designation. He is good to go. Yeah. He'll be out there, which is awesome. I love it when he's out there. But this is why McDermott and Dable didn't get along, because McDermott wanted the offense to be a certain way and didn't want Allen running at all. Triggs, I believe that's a part of it. But I also think there is times and places for Josh to take off running. I think Dable called too many quarterback runs.
Design runs, correct.
Yeah, too many design quarterback runs. I think there's a way to limit the design runs, but still let Josh play free.
Exactly.
I also and I also believe that some of the route concepts that we're running is not great. Like there was a bunch of them that were like an out and a curl, an out and a curl, and nobody over the middle of the field. Like we're not scheming the way we should to give Josh easy throws. We're making it harder on him. If he doesn't put on the cape at times, now there are times that he schemes it really well and Josh misses it. Josh isn't a perfect quarterback.
Nope.
We know that.
Nope.
He's going to make mistakes, but it can't be that Josh has to put on his cape for us to win. That just can't be the case, and that's what it's been so far this year.
Right.
Is Ty Johnson even any good? Ty Johnson is actually a really good special teamer, and he's above average running back.
I thought he had a good preseason. I mean, when we first got him, I think he had one game because we picked him up late.
Yep.
And I was kind of impressed. I told Mikey, not bad. He's not a bad running back. He has size, decent speed. But would I have rather have Fournette? Yeah. but we went the cheap route and said, hey, we already got a guy on the team that knows the playbook. Typical Bean move, which is fine. But
for Ty Johnson?
Interesting.
Ty Johnson's been with us since the preseason.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
He's a
They
special
didn't
teamer.
want to. Yeah.
Like the whole Leonard Fournette thing coming in was because the Bills thought they were going to lose Ty Johnson. That's why he was coming in.
Right. I know that. Right. And then once
Yeah.
they figured out, I'm just saying though, I still would, depending on how much, I don't know what Fournette's asking, but I mean, if you're going to tell me right now,
So let me ask
obviously
you
I
this.
would take Fournette. Yeah.
You would take, so as your running back 3, would you want a guy who can play special teams, or would you want just a better running back that doesn't
I
do
would.
anything?
Well, because right now we really only have 2 because we just put him Harris on the IR, short-term IR, so he'll be out I think 4 weeks. But Ty Johnson will be RB3 no matter how you see it. Now let's say we get another injury. Let's say Murray or whatever goes down or Cook. Then Ty Johnson's next man up. You have to have at least 2 running backs. We were having 3, which was exactly like everything I said that we did last week was how I wanted it. Murray starting, then Cook, and then Harris kind of finishing the show. We don't have now Harris to kind of finish that show or that goal line. I'm guessing Ty Johnson would be that guy, but imagine if Fournette is exactly. So 2, now you bring Fournette in, then you can kind of have that or go back to that. Now, the interesting part, of course, is when Harris gets back, what do? I get that part. But I don't know, man.
My issue is I don't want
I
3 running backs that don't play special teams. You can't have
Oh, yes, right. Because you're right, because we did have him as kick returner. Harris. Now, who goes back now? I'm guessing it's going to be Hardy now instead.
Yeah, probably
with Shakir. If I
Ty Johnson did some in the preseason, so I wonder if they'll put Ty Johnson.
So maybe Ty. You're right. He did have one, right? Okay. So maybe Ty Johnson does do that. Yeah. I mean, I guess I still would. I'd be more comfortable for that. But either way, it's not a needle mover. That's not anything that would have moved the needle.
So. He's a depth guy who's good on special teams and will be a depth running back in case the first 2 get banged up. One of the first 2 get banged up.
Yeah.
FG comes in and says, "Gentlemen, what are your thoughts about Devontae Adams rumors? Is it not realistic? I'd love to, but it's not."
So you want to get on this now since he asked? And Jason asked me on Twitter about all this trade talk. So we might as well dive into it since it's, and then we'll get into the news after. But I know they're wanting to hear it.
Is it realistic? No, I don't believe it is. One, Bean doesn't give up things they're going to want a lot, and he has a very high package. Now, could they bring him in this year and have the Raiders pay some of his salary this year and then renegotiate his contract to make it more team friendly next year? Yes, that is very much possible. Here's the problem. What are you giving up for him? And then when he comes in, he's gonna have to learn the offense. So he's not gonna come in. It's not Madden. You don't come in and plug and play. You have to learn the offense. So people are talking about giving up, a first, second, maybe Davis. Well, if you give up Davis, Adams is going to be a couple weeks before he plays because he's going to have to learn the offense. So it's not going to be a quick, plug and play type of thing. As you saw, Nyheim Hines struggled with the playbook last year and didn't get involved at all after the midseason trade. So I don't think a trade for a player like Adams would happen in season. It would be more of a off-season move like that because of needing to bring him in and have him learn it. But I don't know. I would if they did it, would I be mad? No. I would love it. Ham, D-Hop, any of them. Give us another legit receiver at wide receiver 2. I'm okay with that.
I wouldn't get rid of Davis though.
I wouldn't include him either. I don't think Bean would.
Only reason is to your point. Honestly, that's the main thing. And I like Davis, but if this was off season, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Right before the season starts, you got time. Devontae can come in, learn the offense. We got preseason on the way, whatever. I'm good with that. But we're week 7. We're on week 7. It's going to take a couple weeks. Nobody's going to learn the offense that quick. And Gabe Davis, for as much as some people don't like him or like him, is still a decent receiver. I think he still can be a quality too. But getting rid of him then who's going to fill in while Adams is learning? Trent Sherfield, who hasn't been used at all, right? Deontay Hardy, who has barely been used. No. Kincaid, no. So then we would be really struggling. And not only that, we're in week 7. We got some tough games coming up soon. And I definitely don't want to have a receiver while one is catching up. So if we're going to do it, which I don't, guys, once again, it's not going to happen because Bean doesn't trade.
Yeah.
We would have to keep Davis. Then I'd be all for it, and it would be really good because then you could have Adams as your 2 and Davis as your 3, and then we're really, really, really
because you can
tough
have
team.
Adams and Davis on the outside. You put Diggs in the slot and let him just cook.
Dude, it would be a very unstoppable offense, man, and we'd have a bigger, more physical, and Adams is more bigger physical type receiver, kind of like a Davis, but way better.
He wins those 50-50s too.
Right, exactly. So, but it's just not going to happen. So we'll talk trades.
Yeah.
So all the trade rumors right now, like the
hold on, before we move on the trade rumors, Triggs comes in and says he's not worried about Adams learning the new offense because McDaniel runs an offense very similar. I didn't think about that. You're 100% right. He would probably pick up that offense faster because of that. He understands the basics because he's running that offense in Vegas. So you're right. He probably would pick it up faster. I still wouldn't
pick it up faster.
I still wouldn't want to see Davis moved out for him.
Mm-hmm. No, you can't do that.
I don't think they would do that. But if we parted with some picks, I'd be okay with that. To go get another elite 100%. Receiver to bring in, because then you can bring him along at his pace. You don't have to rush him onto the field. You figure out, you give him a couple packages at a time until he feels fully healthy. By after our bye week, which I think our bye week's week 13.
Right.
After our bye week, he'll be ready to go for the stretch run, and that's what you need him for.
Yeah. So King Henry, by the way, is on the trade block. Per a lot of sources. I would definitely be down for him, 100%, no doubt about it. But once again, what do they want? Is Being willing to do it? Probably not. I have a feeling we'll make a trade, but it ain't going to be anything that moves the needle. It's going to be a Nyheim Hines type of trade, Dean Marlowe type of trade. It's just going to be depth maybe, but nothing that moves the needle. I hate saying it. Me and Mikey talked about this. And the thing here, man, I love Brandon Beane, guys. I do. I love what he's done for this team. I absolutely do. I think he's put this team back on the map, made us a Super Bowl contender. But here's the deal. If we don't win a Super Bowl, and we're going year after year after year, and let's just say Beane moves on in the future, whatever happens, we will look back to these days, and look back at Beane as GM in Buffalo and go, damn, what if he pulled the trigger on Adams? What if he pulled the trigger on Henry? What if he got Patrick Surtain in 2023? Like, there's going to be what ifs. Because why? Because those players were out there to get, right? And same with McCaffrey. What if we got McCaffrey? Like, what if he just said fuck it and did it? I'm just saying, I'm throwing these out there because these guys are probably going to get moved, more than likely, at some point. And it's like, damn, Beane, like sometimes you have to take the gamble as a GM. It sucks. Doesn't always work out, but neither does drafts. And we know this because we've traded draft picks. We have one right now who's a first round that's not working out. So they're not guaranteed. So all I know, Mikey, is if you got a player that is, what he's capable of, what he's done in the league, I think you take that gamble. You risk it. You trade away some assets, and you make the move. I feel like the best teams are always making moves. They're always doing something.
The Chiefs just did it. The Chiefs just brought back Hardman, and I believe they're in the process of bringing back Frank Clark. The 49ers did it and went out and got Gregory, the edge rusher.
Right, who had a sack right away his first game for the 49ers. So that's my point. The good teams, even the good teams, you would think, oh, man, 49ers are like at the time undefeated. Why do they need this guy? They're doing great because they're always thinking ahead. They're always going, well, why not, right? Why not add this guy? He's only going to help down the stretch. And I feel like Beane sometimes gets caught up in, practice squad guys and guys that I don't get it, but we'll see what happens, man.
Spen, I disagree with the fact that Hardman has the speed and is used now. I don't think he's an world burner by any means, but I have a feeling he fits better with the Chiefs. It's very much like Shaq Lawson. Shaq Lawson going to another team doesn't work, but with the Bills, it works. Hardman's the same way. He doesn't make a bunch of plays, but man, he makes that backbreaker when
he made them on us. Made them on us.
Yep.
And he knows. And listen, yeah, I get, like, if that was on another team, let's say Hardman went to the Browns, I would agree. I would say, yep, you're right. But because he's going back to a team he's familiar with, a coach that knows how to use him the right way, yeah, that's a great trade. Why not bring back the guy that did pretty well in your system? Yeah, so that's a no-brainer for the Chiefs. Why not?
I don't think he pushes the needles, but he gives someone that Pat can trust. Pat trusts him, and right now with a lot of their
what do they have
young guys? Yeah, nothing.
Right.
A lot of their young guys not stepping up. It gives Pat confidence. With a guy he trusts.
Yep.
That's not what I'm saying, Spen. It's not what I'm saying.
It's not.
If
we don't have for instance, we don't have a guy that was, that'd be like if we went out and got like who's a former player, Mikey, that we would like. I know you mentioned Shaq Lawson, but who's a former player that we lost? For instance, Tremaine Edmonds or something. Like we got Edmonds back. That would
I wouldn't say. I'm
Edmonds. Just saying that would be.
I would say Isaiah Hodgins,
a needle mover.
Isaiah Hodgins. That would probably be more. That would be more in the line of Hardman and.
You're right. It's you mean on the same line? Yeah.
On the same.
I'm talking about needle mover. I'm talking about needle mover.
Okay, needle mover. Yeah, I believe Edmonds would probably be the one.
Right. But there's not many former players. I'm saying that.
Yeah, apples for apples. Okay. It'd probably be Hodgins would be the type, and that doesn't move me. No, but he gives someone that he trusts.
Same level. That's a good. Who did we? Not McKenzie. What's McKenzie even doing?
You can be a smart ass, brother. You can be a smart ass. I'm just gonna call you.
I would say Zach Moss, but we wouldn't use him right.
Right? Or exactly. But the difference is that's a reverse. That's us not knowing how to use him going somewhere and succeeding. That's a big difference.
Oh my God.
Robert Woods would be an interesting one, Trek. I wanted Robert
I know.
Bobby Trees. I wanted Bobby Trees in free agency. God, I would love that. That'd be awesome. But going back to what FG was asking, my issue is, although I would love to have a Derrick Henry type, I don't know if he fits our offensive scheme. Derrick Henry in the shotgun isn't pretty. Derrick Henry's an under the center, downhill bruiser, and we don't do a ton of that.
Yeah. So they would have to, unless Dorsey was willing to change, like getting a guy like that and going, hey, he's way better on the center. This is what we're going to do. Then it would make sense, Mikey. But that's I don't know.
But then we'd be changing our offense. Our fundamental.
Just when you run the ball, I don't think that's terrible. You don't have to necessarily.
So you're okay if you're going to do that. Then
we go under center sometimes now with runs. We just don't do it enough.
Yeah. So if every time Henry's in there, you're under center, it's going to give it away as well.
No, because you could play action off that.
But when if Henry's in there,
be ideal.
What I'm trying to say is if Henry's in there, they're never going to be in shotgun. It's going to limit what you can do on offense.
No, I understand, but you still can use but just like you said, if Henry's in there and you're under center, you're thinking probably Henry's going to run the ball there. If you play action, that's going to open up a lot. The defense is, listen, when you have a guy like that, the defense is going, they have to be honest, Mikey. Even in shotgun, they're still going to play Henry for the run. Will Cook back there? Not so much. You know what I'm saying? They're not scared of Cook getting the ball and shot. Like, I think Henry is one of those type of players where you have to respect that Henry's going to more than likely get the ball. Mm-hmm. That's when you can open up the play action, especially under center. So I think 100%.
I also think he needs 20 plus carries a game, and I
agree with that. I agree with that. Then you'd have to take away Cook, or you'd have to go. I think you would have to maybe even think about it. say goodbye to Goodell. I don't know how
Murray
you do
wouldn't get as many touches.
No,
Cook and Murray would
Murray-
limit their touches.
I agree with that too. But it depends on what they were trying to. Now, would they want? Now, what's Henry's contract? 2 years? Still has 2 years.
No, it's
remaining?
last year. Last year.
Exactly. So you would either have to know that he's a loner or work on an agreement with him through an extension, and then say goodbye to somebody. No, that's a tough one. You're right, Mike. That is a tough one, and I don't think that's going to happen. By the way,
I don't.
If they're gonna make any kind of trade, a wide receiver I think would be smart, and obviously a cornerback. I would love Surtain, but I just don't see it happening. They want so much.
No, they're not even. He's not even on the block. Like people just said it because they were so bad.
I agree that, but you don't know. I think almost every player is on a block at a certain price. You know what I mean? I think a certain price.
Bills would
I've heard GMs. I've heard
Bills would be
GMs say this guy's he's not on the block. He's not going to be traded, and they trade a player. You know what I mean? Like I've heard that before. So I don't necessarily always.
What I'm talking about is most of the Bills Mafia that's talking about wanting Surtain is because someone said, "Oh, he's on the Broncos."
Yeah, I heard nothing. I heard no rumors. I heard nothing. Now I've heard rumors on Adams. I heard rumors on Henry, like legit, inside sources, but nothing about Surtain. But they're a terrible team, Mikey. They should blow that team up. They should. Yeah. They should listen to offers. How about that?
Yeah, but you don't give up one of the best. You don't give up one of the.
No,
best
I agree. But if they're blowing it up and they need draft picks, I'm just saying, there's teams that've done that. There's teams that've gotten rid of their best players to rebuild.
Jacksonville did it. Jacksonville did it, and they traded Jalen Ramsey for 2 firsts and a second.
After they just paid him too. Yeah. They just paid him.
Yep. Trek comes in and says, "F Gabe Davis." If Gabe Davis, he forgot the I. If Gabe Davis does not resign next year, I hope the Bills draft Johnny Wilson from Florida State, 6'7", 237. In the highlights, he gets open, but I can't tell about his blocking ability. There's a lot of really good wide receivers coming out this year.
Yep, a ton.
Spin comes in and says, "I hope they draft Marvin Harrison Jr." The only way we get Marvin Harrison Jr. is if we trade into the top 5.
Correct.
Because he's not falling out of the top 5. He is one of the elite prospects coming out this year. Or something horrible comes out about him and he slips.
Right.
But from all signs, the dude's a pretty, pretty down to earth guy, humble kid who just loves ball and plays. So you're not going to have that. Every man has a price, the $1 Million Man voice.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. If Davis leaves, I want the Bills to draft Ibuka from Ohio State. I'll take any of those Ohio State receivers. What I'd really love? I'd really love the Bills to go hire that Ohio State receivers coach. That dude just gets guys who has talent and polishes them.
Yeah.
Whoever their wide receivers coach is, go get him.
Best talent comes out of South Florida, man. Guys, I mean, there's a lot of talent all over the nation, but there's a lot of good talent out of South Florida, man.
If he's there in the second or third round, who's there in the second or third round? Oh, Ibuka? I don't think he will. I think by the time it's all said and done, I think he's going to be a late first round pick.
Ibuka we are talking way too early on draft.
Yeah, Ibuka was one of those guys who until Marvin Harrison popped last year, he was the next big one that was coming out after Olave and all those guys. Ibuka was when it was they had Ibuka, Olave, and Garrett Wilson on the field all together, and Ibuka was actually better than the other two in college. Right. And then Ibuka got hurt, and the other two took off, and then it's been one after another since.
Mm-hmm.
Can we draft an OC? Yes, Jason, we can draft an OC. We'll turn on Madden simulations where you can draft everything. You can draft a head coach, you can draft an OC, you can, draft entire franchise. Somebody get Marvin Harrison Jr. a gas mask. Yes, Freud. That is awesome. You know what? They have these new AI things that are out there that makes it looks like the guy saying something bad. Let's set some up for Marvin Harrison Jr. AIs.
Mm-hmm.
How about drafting another tight end? I don't want another tight end.
No.
Only way I want
No.
another tight end is if we're cutting bait with Dawson Knox.
Which, at this point, boy, he better turn things around because it's not, bro.
JSN was really good too.
Yeah.
Triggs was right. JSN was there as well. He was really good as well. But Ibuka was one of those guys that was like pushing to get on with JSN and Olave, and it's funny because he's an afterthought because he got hurt, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. took off. But yeah, we're going down the rabbit hole on the draft stuff. So, anyways, Tommy. So, talking about the trade deadline coming up, outside of that, any other big names out there? Do you see a D-Hop being moved, or do you see any of these guys actually getting moved?
That'd be crazy if D-Hop got traded after,
because it's only a 1-year guaranteed deal.
Yeah, I know. It would be so funny, ironic, right? He winds up going to Buffalo, like. That would be ironic, but no, I don't see that happening. If I don't want any damn trade unless it's a needle mover, period. That's it. I don't bring depth. A guy that's going to wind up being on a practice squad, not even playing. Like, just if you're going to do it, make it count, man. But there's a lot of teams that are not good this year, that are struggling. And there's going to be teams that are going to tank, and they're going to want draft capital. And we have a lot lot of Mikey. We have a lot of picks.
What about
let me
ask you this. What about Darnell Mooney out of Chicago? Is he basically the same as Hardy? I think he's a better receiver, but he's up and down.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No.
First 6th round pick?
Yeah, no. I get we have guys. No, I feel like Hardy's better than we. Listen, Mikey, I went back the other day. I watched Hardy again, like a film.
He's so good. He's so fast. We just don't use him right.
We don't we have a guy that's capable of taking it to the house. Where are the slants for him? I don't understand why we're not doing things that he did so well in New Orleans. Like, I do not get it.
Or even that little option route that Christian Kirk ran last night. Why not?
That's what I'm saying. Right. Open field, that dude was gone. And I think Hardy's faster than Kirk. And look at that. It's just like I don't. I think if he makes a move, it's a big name. And I don't think it's going to be. I don't see it happening. I just don't. I hope it does. I hope he makes a move, Mikey, but I just don't. I don't see it happening, man.
Well, we'll see. We have a couple weeks before that. Trex says, what if with the Jones injury we go after Justin Simmons? Justin Simmons just signed a new huge deal in Tennessee. He's not going anywhere.
Nope.
That's like the same. We're gonna go get Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence just signed a huge deal. In New York too. It's not happening.
Scratch that. You can scratch that.
Trick Simpson says Mooney's a very good number 2. He is a very good number 2. I just feel like what he brings, we actually have on this team already. We just don't use it correctly.
Correct.
I would like to see us. That's easy. Hardy was under Sean Payton in New Orleans. Yeah, a guy who knew how to use him.
Correct.
It's one of those things. Good thing I picked Kirk over DK in my fantasy this week, right? Kirk ended up having a great.
I had Kirk on my bench too.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough. All right, so let's finish this out. Last Sunday or this Sunday is the last 1 o'clock or 1 kickoff for the Bills this year. Last 1 p.m.
Damn, I didn't even know that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, technically the Miami game at the end is, but it's open to be flexed.
I saw that. Yeah, flex. Yep.
So we're saying goodbye to our 1 p.m. games after this week. We have this week, and then we have Thursday night, which is the reason why I truly believe that Ed Oliver's not playing this week, is because it's a quick turnaround back to Thursday night.
It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So speaking of that, let's pop this up on the screen. We're going to go through the awesome injury report. We'll start with New England. Out, Riley Reif, Josh Uche, and Keon White, 2 of their elite pass rushers out of this game. Also, Judon is out. He's on IR. Christian Gonzalez out on IR. So, they're banged up bad.
Yeah, big time.
on defense. They have no doubtfuls and then questionables. Their center, questionable. Christian Barmore, questionable. Keyshawn Booty, their wide receiver, questionable. Trent Brown, questionable. Like, look at this. Kyle Duggar, questionable. I think most of these guys play, but they're going to be playing injured. And that's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
They are.
Yeah,
that's
a laundry list, boy. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And they're questionable with limited practices too. It's like not even like they were early on and then they had full practices. They're all limited.
Mm-hmm.
Jarrell Peppers was the only guy that was removed from the injury report.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else is still there, so it'll be interesting. For the Bills, Ed Oliver and Quentin Morris are the two that are out. Cam Lewis is questionable. I have a feeling he's not going to play with that quick turnaround, and we're going to probably see DeMar Hamlin get a jersey on game day. We'll see DeMar Hamlin game. And that's it. Everyone else is good to go. Everyone else came off the report.
I noticed on that touchdown, by the way, Quentin Morris, I could kind of tell his ankle was hurting at that point. Like I think he already twisted it in the game.
He did, and he stayed out. He wasn't even supposed to be a target on that. He was supposed to be a clearing route.
Right.
And he was banged up and he couldn't get off the field, so they quickly ran it.
Because I noticed
like making a great play.
Yeah, when he went to go sell it, like teams the players, and he was just kind of like he didn't, you could tell he's just like, yo, just watch it. I'm not moving too well here.
Yeah, Beth, I do believe that game's gonna be flexed. I think it's gonna be a Saturday game. It's gonna be the Saturday night game. The Miami Buffalo Saturday night games are always really good ratings.
Mm-hmm.
What if we pull off a trade for Hunter Renfrow and Josh Jacobs? I would like it. I don't see two guys coming in. I really don't. Josh Jacobs has a guaranteed $10 million contract this year, so it's one of those things that we'll probably be taking on about 6 of it. So if they're willing to eat some of it, because we don't have $6 million, if they're willing to eat some of it to send them, okay, I'm good with that. But it's going to cost us some serious cash because the Raiders aren't out of it yet either.
Somebody asked, maybe more about the players going on IR like Trey. Do we have? They were asking about the cap. Do we get some of that cap back because they're not playing this year?
No.
Okay.
We do not. It's just like them always being there.
Dead money.
What happens for that is nothing happens to the cap. What happens is if they have insurance on them, they get like work comp insurance, and the Bills, the Pagulas get some of the money covered by the insurance. So the player still gets his money. It doesn't come out of the Pagula's pocket. It comes out of the insurance pocket, kind of like that. But from a cap standpoint, no, we don't get anything back.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Miami Buffalo should be the Sunday night game. Yeah, that final week. Yeah, I would agree. But that they're gonna put us on Saturday night. That's what they always do.
Yeah,
they love their Saturdays. Brandon Veens values his picks too much for that. Yeah, but here's the problem with that. Triggs is he has like 9 or 10 picks right now.
10.
We have 10, and is that 10. Including the? That
includes the third. The third.
The third we're gonna get for Tremaine. Okay. We don't have 10 spots on this roster that you're going to allow guys to make. Like as it is, we were getting rid of our 6th, 7th, 8th, our 5th, 6th, and 7th guys last year.
Right.
They were going to practice squad. So why not make that move? He won't, and he'll use those picks to move up and down in the draft rather than, doing something for this year. But, we can hope.
We got a week.
The players on IR, they probably lose any bonus. They do lose bonus incentives if they go on IR because they don't hit it. That affects next year's cap.
Yeah,
this year's cap.
Exactly.
Yep. It doesn't give us any money back this year. And I think that was what the question was. With Trey being out, can we take his $10 million that he has a cap or $13 million cap and use it on somebody else? And no, unfortunately, that doesn't work that way. The problem is not the roster; it's the play calling, and Josh only trusts Diggs. I don't believe Josh only trusts Diggs. I think the problem,
Davis.
Yeah, I think part of the problem because that Chuckles. I truly believe that in the previous games he threw it to other people. It was just the first half last game that it was only Diggs. He had 12 targets in the first half. He had 4 targets in the second half, or something like that. 11 in the first half. 4 in the second half or something like that. But in the second half, Diggs only had 4 and he went to other people. So it's not that he doesn't trust them. I think it has to do with the play calling and the scheming of who's open. Where are they in the reads and things like that? Like there were things where I think Josh locked on to Diggs because he was beating his guy, and he got a little too Diggs happy in the first half because other guys were randomly open. There wasn't a ton open, but there, like I said, there was about 4 plays in that first half that he could have gone another way instead of Diggs. And he didn't do it. Although that other guy was farther into the progression and he felt Diggs should be there. But, also some of these guys just don't make plays when they get their opportunity. It's hard to trust a guy, when he's not making plays.
Right. Dropping the ball or just not
Fumbling
making
the
a
ball.
play or not making a play, really. Like not making a man miss. I mean, it's crazy,
Go back,
man.
Kincaid. He gets that 4-yard pass. He goes to the sideline instead of putting his shoulder down like Dawson Knox does and go over a guy. He steps out of bounds and comes up 2 yards short. We have to punt.
Right. Yards after catch for this team. Yak has just not been good for a long time. Like
we're at the bottom of the league. We're at the bottom of the league.
It's still every year we are.
We're better this year than we have been in the past. But we're still in like 23rd or 24th or something like that.
Yeah, it's not good. Like that's not where you want to be. Got to get better than that.
Yeah. When plays getting broken up, Diggs is a security blanket. He feels like he can go to Diggs whenever he needs to get, move the chains. Also, we got to give some credit to the other team. Like that linebacker was all over the place. Like there was some really good, like he had one that got the interception. It
was a great play. Yeah,
Knox was open. Could Josh have put it a little bit higher? Yeah, but he's made that throw 100 times and it's gotten through there. That linebacker made a great play, and the other linebacker was just there to catch it.
Right.
Things like that happen. We should win easy another. What's up, Scott? What's going on, brother?
Seems to be the case.
Hard to see who's getting open and who's not from a TV broadcast. It very much is. I've gone back and I've watched all 22. There was a handful of plays that Josh could have gone somewhere else, which I would have liked him to, and he didn't. But you can do that with any quarterback on any game. Go back a handful of plays where they should have gone somewhere else. We are hyper-focused on the Bills, and that's part of the problem is we see all of it, and we want them to be perfect, and it's just not going to happen, ever.
Right.
Except in that playoff game. But even then, I bet you we could pick out certain things that Josh could have went somewhere else with the ball.
Yeah, 100%.
So, okay. Moving on. Keys to the game.
Let's do it.
Offense. Get in a freaking rhythm, man. Please.
Early rhythm.
Early rhythm. Get some first downs. Dorsey. Scheme something up to make it easier on Josh. You know what I mean? I think Colin Cowherd came out and said something this week that kind of resonated with me. And you know me, I'm not a big national media guy.
Yeah.
He said the Buffalo Bills need to be able to win a game when Josh is 13 for 30 and still win by more than a touchdown. Right. They're too reliant on Josh Allen to be Superman in order to win.
Yeah,
we have enough talent. Right. We have enough talent. And he even said it. They have enough talent on this roster to still do that. But the coaches need to put the players in position to do it for them, to help him out.
Right.
Give the guy some freaking help, man. So get in a rhythm early. Dorsey, scheme some stuff up, some easy throws, some easy first downs. We on 3rd and 3, let's not try to chuck a 25-yard bomb down the field and have the guys, because they've been getting away with holding and tripping us the last couple weeks. It's just the way it is.
So, okay. So I going back and watching that film again on the Giants game, man, I gotta say, man, if more teams play us like that, we're gonna have ugly games going forward, because it seems like our players, especially guys like Gabe Davis and other players too, they get rattled. They let players get under their skin, bothered. It throws their game off. And I thought the Giants had a perfect scheme, bro, a perfect plan. They played as physical. They held a little bit. The referees didn't call it. It worked to their advantage early on. It got us mad, but getting us mad, we didn't play better. Some people can get mad and play better. We're the opposite. We get mad and it gets in our head and we start to make stupid decisions. So hopefully we learn from that and we don't let players get in our head and teams like upset our rhythm. So no, nothing wrong with me. I've done a lot of videos this week, man. I do
He's
videos.
he's just getting my take on it. If you also think about this, Tommy, that scheme right there was also the scheme that the Ravens used against us in the playoffs in that Tron Johnson pick 6 game.
Yeah,
We didn't score a lot of points.
No, we
Wink Martindale schemes up a really good defense against us. He always has. He's a
Who
really
else
good
does
defensive
it?
coordinator.
The Jets too, playing
Yep.
physical with us, throws
Mhm.
us off a little bit. And
Mhm.
even with Josh, if you notice, Josh gets rattled at times when things are getting physical. He's getting hit, right? Like plays are breaking down, and he gets a little
He
frustrated.
doesn't have anywhere to go. That's when he gets frustrated,
Right.
when he doesn't have an escape route.
Y-
His guys are getting beat quick. He stops
Yes.
looking downfield and starts looking under, like, where's my escape
That's when he
routes?
starts to get a little right, and he starts to get a
Mhm.
little rattled. So I think our players need to also get a little better at that. But there's certain guys that think can hold the. I think Stephon Diggs pretty good with that. He doesn't really let that player. He steps
Mhm.
up, But Gabe Davis, man, he's been like that since we got him. He lets people get in his head, and it just throws them all off, man. That fumble,
Yep.
I think, messed him up too early on, and from
Mhm.
there it was just bad play by Gabe Davis.
Second half, we played fantastic. We had 3 drives. We scored on 2 of the 3, and we had a chance to seal
Long
the
drives too.
game.
Yeah, long drives,
We had
which
a
I
short
like.
arm drop.
Right.
So it wasn't that the whole game was bad. It was just the first half that was really bad.
But it's still, even those long drives still were just some of the play calling was still bad.
Yeah.
We moved the chains, but it still doesn't. It's
not rhythm. It's not. Yes, it wasn't in rhythm by any
It
means.
just was just
Only the first one. The first one was. The second one was not. The first one was run,
Right,
hit a pass,
right.
run, hit a pass, run, and then it got clunky down at the end zone. We had to go 4th down, and we threw that little orbit pass because we just got too predictable down in the end zone.
Yeah.
I want to hit on this. This Trex asked a few times, and I've seen a few people ask about the defensive line. I think it's gonna be Vickers because Brown's still very new. Although Vickers isn't a big body, I think Brown's a bigger body, so I would like to see Brown over Vickers. Vickers is more of a tweener. And I think how our D line's gonna go is I believe it's gonna go Phillips and Settle will probably start.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see a lot of Puna, and then you may see Shaq and Groot on the inside more this week than you have in the past. It depends on if we can get up on them. If we can get up on them and turn them into one, and this goes into my second piece about the defense of keys to the game, and that's stop the run and make them one-dimensional, throw the ball. If we can do that, like most teams have this year to them, Mac Jones in that passing offense isn't very good, and that offensive line's banged up. So if you can get into your NASCAR package early and get after him, it could be very much like a Washington game where you're just teeing off on him, where you have Vaughn and AJ and Floyd coming off the edge, and you have Groot and and those guys on the interior. But yeah, I believe it's going to probably be Vickers because he has the game experience. I'd like to see Brown. He's just bigger body for the run.
I did a video this week, Mikey, and I forget what it was. It was like takeaways or something on the game, and I mentioned Tim Settle not hasn't played very well. And I got a comment from Tim Settle. That was the name on YouTube. And
oh, really?
This guy doesn't know nothing about football. So I messaged back saying, "Hey man, well, sorry you think that way. You know me. I try to stay calm, and I'm like, sorry you feel that way, man. But hey, thanks for watching. Go Bills." And then he erased it. It's the comment. But I'm like, could this be Tim Settle?
Watch it. That's you crapping on him.
Videos. Yeah, and I didn't crap on him long. I didn't crap on him long. I just said he hasn't played well. He needs to step up because it's not that it's what we feel. But it was just so funny because I'm like, his name is Tim Settle. Like, this can't be a fucking coincidence. But it was a whole video. It wasn't just on Tim Settle, but it happened to be the video where I mentioned Tim Settle not playing good. And he's like, this guy don't know nothing about football.
The problem isn't even that he's not playing good. It's he's been invisible. Like, you haven't seen the flash plays that you've seen from the other guys.
Right. No, but he hasn't even been the guy that I saw in Washington. Like the guy that I heard about. In
Yeah, because
Washington.
he made splash plays in Washington. I haven't
Right.
seen any
That's
of
what I'm
that from him
saying.
here.
Like he just has been. I don't think he's played terrible. He just has, like you said, he's been quiet.
Yeah. Scott, over under 3 on how many shotgun draws. And it's not really a shotgun draw, it's a duo. But yes, I do agree. We're probably going to see more than 3 because that's what they do. Gabe Davis won't be here next season. Yep.
No, he won't. I have a feeling if he, I'll tell you what, if he was having a better season, and I still think he still has an opportunity, by the way, I think to get 1,000 yards this season, which is good for him. But I feel like if he was having a better season, maybe the Bills would have thought about maybe, working an extension out somewhere in the season. But he's just still up and down, Mikey, and I don't think they're just gonna let him go ahead and walk.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I believe they're gonna let him walk too.
Which I understand.
Very much the Tremaine Edmonds thing. Beth, yes, their front 4 is banged up. I think they're all gonna play, but they are banged up. Vickers and Brown are the same size. Oh, they are the same size. Okay, I just know Vickers was being a tweener, and that's why I hate that we're undersized all the time at the defense tackle. That drives me crazy.
All the time, bro.
That drives me crazy.
Somebody mentioned a trade like defensive tackle that, hey, I mean,
the problem is they believe that they believe that that Jones is going to be back at the end of the year, so they're probably
I know that, but that's still not guaranteed, and that's it. Will he be back? How?
Okay, so say we do
he may not be back.
Okay, say we do make a trade, and then he's ready to come back. Who are you cutting on that D line?
Well, I get it, but remember Daquan Jones. I think this is the last year. We would have to.
I get that.
We haven't extended. No, I'm just saying. So we haven't even extended Daquan Jones. So I don't know who's available for trade, obviously. But I'm just saying. Let's say you bring in a guy that's someone who's good, and that's on. Let's say he still has 2 years left. Well, okay, now you don't have to worry about Daquan leaving next season. I'm just saying if they don't re-sign him. And you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing that out there. That pec injury it's not guaranteed he'll be back. And if he does, it'll be playoffs. And by then we don't know if he'll be ready to go, right away, right when he's ready to come. Like it could take one game, like last year with Micah Hyde. If we would have got past that Bengals game, then Micah Hyde would have played. But look, we were already 2 games into the playoff. So Hyde wasn't ready until
the difference is
the 3rd game.
The difference is we have a larger depth in defensive tackle.
We do.
We kept 5 for a reason.
But they're all good. They're not Daquan Jones good. They're good at certain things, right? Daquan Jones was the full package, right? He was good at. He was starting to rush the quarterback. He was a good run blocker. He could create double teams. Like I love Jordan Phillips, but he's more of a pass rusher than a run.
He's a 3 tech, not a 1 tech.
Right. And then, and Puna's more of a run stopper, less of a pass stopper. So I just feel like if they could get their hands on somebody that could be more of a Daquan Jones, then it would be a better feeling. And then you'd have to, but who knows? They could trade one of those players to get that. I have no idea. But once again, we're talking about trades, and that just doesn't happen here.
Spin comes in, says Settle probably assumed the 1 tech role because Puna's been inactive for the most part. I thought Puna played better than Settle last week, and I have a feeling he's going to get more and more. I believe you're right that Settle's going to probably start at the 1 tech role because that's what McDermott does. He has the longevity here, but I have a feeling you're going to see, especially if they're running the ball, you're going to see Puna more than you're going to see Settle.
I think so too. Yep.
You're also going to probably see a whole lot more Phillips. You're going to see Shaq on the inside. You're going to see Groot on the inside. You're going to see a lot of mix and match on that defensive line without Ed Oliver.
Right. Yep.
In Washington, Settle's splash plays probably came as a 3 tech. Yeah, I believe I believe Settle's more of a Jordan Phillips clone.
Yep.
Than he is an actual 1 tech. His size says 1 tech. His play says 3 tech.
Right.
And they try to put him, he's playing out of position, trying to be a backup 1 tech.
I agree with that.
If Mac and Cheese beats us, I'm giving Mac and Cheese for life.
I can never give up Mac and Cheese for life.
Brown is 1 pound heavier and Vicky is about 6'8". Wow. Okay, that's. I'll be perfectly honest, Trek. That's a little disappointing to hear that because Vickers is a tweener. He's not, He's not real big on the defensive line, and I would like to see us get us a bigger defensive lineman.
Right.
Little faith in our depth. No, I have faith in our depth. I just think our depth is stretched right now. We've lost our starting 2 defensive tackles, and we're playing with just backups now.
I think this is an okay game though to have Ed Oliver out. Like this is a game against a team that's so depleted with injuries, not offensively are a mess. So we'll be okay without Ed Oliver this game. And
also, Ed's not great against the run, and they try to run the ball more, and this is actually feeds into what we could do with what our defense.
Yeah, we'll be all right. I'm agree with you with the Ed Oliver. We have a short turnaround on Thursday. We play the Bucks. So I think Ed Oliver going against the Bucks, I need him there more than I need him against a Mac Jones terrible offense that's depleted. So
I wouldn't mind seeing a Settle and Puna. The problem was the last time I seen Settle and Puna on the field together was when Settle, chop blocked Puna, and then there was that long touchdown run in the preseason.
That was the preseason game.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, tripped into. Yeah, it looked horrible. I don't like to see those 2 guys playing together. So Settle will probably always be the one tech. And Puna comes in to be the backup one tech, and then you rotate Phillips with one of your edge rushers, as Scott was saying. Whether that's Shaq Lawson or Groot or whoever.
What do you think about Kyer this weekend, Mikey? Think Kyer gets a start, or you think
Dane
takes
I think Dane takes the start. I think Kyer gets mixed in a little bit.
It's going to be interesting. I'm so interested on that. I really want to see what McDermott does with Kyer this weekend. So curious, man. It's going to tell you a lot about what's going on with Kyer and McDermott. Like, it really will.
If last week he started to trust them at all, if he gets some snaps this week, it tells me that he's starting to earn a little bit more. He's starting
to have a little faith in him. Right. But if he doesn't, I'm telling you guys, it's not a good sign.
Nope.
It's not a fucking good sign moving forward for Kyer Elam. So as much as we like him, I still think he has potential, but I'm not the head coach. So, it won't be a good sign.
4 games. So they have to miss 4 games, Beth. When a player goes on IR, they are out.
Short-term IR.
And then,
yep.
And then what happens? Yeah. Then what happens is after they can stay out as long as they need, but once they open their practice window, they have 21 days to bring them back.
Right.
Elam's warming the bench, but active. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
He'll be active because they're shorthanded.
I understood what you're saying, Beth. You're good. I knew what the question was. Tommy, thank you, Tommy, for deciphering. I know the feeling, Beth. Mikey, you're wrong. It's the pups. The 21 days. Really? So if they IR, they don't have a option window. They just bring him back and that's it. Because wasn't Jonathan Taylor on IR, not on PUP, or was he on PUP?
He was on PUP, I believe, Mikey.
Was he?
I think, God, I could be wrong. Maybe he was on it. No, he was on PUP. I believe he was on PUP. You had to pull that up, but I think he was on PUP.
Okay.
Season.
Either way, 4 weeks is the IR. It doesn't really matter when It could be that once they come back off of IR after that 4 weeks, they can practice and then they can bring it back whenever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Taylor was PUP. Thank you. Okay. For some reason, I thought he was IR. I don't know why. I don't know why. Either way. To finish it out, I want to continue to see the linebackers play physical in the run. Loved what I saw from them early in the game. I don't want to see us get leaky with the run defense. I thought Dorian Williams played a better game last week than the first time, so I'd like to see him continue to get better. And then special teams, Bass, get back on it, buddy. You had a bad day. Let it go. Get back on track. So those are my keys to the game.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. This game here, we need to have a decisive win. Like this cannot be a close game again. If it's a close game again, all hell is gonna break loose, man. I'm telling you, Mikey, we are not gonna be happy campers on a post game, win or lose, if we're playing bad football and it comes down to the last play again. We need to We need to win this game by at least 2 scores, okay?
10 or more.
And right, and we need to look better on offense. Like, I know what our defense is capable. Listen, I would be shocked if the Patriots do anything against our defense. Like, I expect our defense to handle their business against that Patriots team.
I hate you, Scott.
It's the offense is yeah. Hey, yeah.
That's just wrong,
scared.
Scott.
I am scared to give my to my score prediction because it's like I know what we should win by, but it hasn't happened in a few weeks. So, by the way, real quick, Mikey. So I'm like one of those people that like superstitious. So I wore that Josh Allen jersey week 1, and we were terrible and we lost. So I took it off. I wore the Molds jersey. We won like 4 in a row at that point. All right, or 3 in a row or whatever. And then we lost to the Jaguars. So I went back to the Allen jersey for the Giants game, and it was miserable. We won, but it was awful. So I decided to go a different jersey route, even though we won. Guess what I'm going with?
What?
Because I want this team to be like this.
Where? What?
Beast mode, Marshawn Lynch jersey.
You're going with the Marshawn? Okay.
Because I want us to be beast mode, baby. That's what we need to be. Okay. So, yes, Marshawn Lynch will be my jersey to go with Sunday.
Here's a question for you. Do we see your boy Zappy?
I don't think so. Week? I think he's played just as bad.
I don't even know if he's active. I think they have
they may not be, but they gave him an opportunity. Rookie. They gave him an opportunity like a few weeks back. He looked just as bad. Yeah, Malik something.
Cunningham, right?
And they mixed him in last week, by the way, and it was only for like trick plays, and I'm not concerned. Like whatever. So,
is it bad? My wife is having my brother build a plexiglass shield for our living room. Yes, that would be bad. Smart but bad.
Mm-hmm.
Where we go here? Chuckle comes in and says we can just run the ball, play basic offense under center, and score 42-10. If we would get under center and run the ball, yes, I would agree. That's when we did that last week, our offense got in a rhythm. Our offense coordinator just refuses to stick with it. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's why everyone's giving him credit for the second half adjustments for running the ball. Like I did videos all this week, Mikey. I'm like, I'm not giving Ken Dorsey credit for something that he was there in the first half that he went away from. Why would I give him any credit for doing something that worked and he just totally went away from? Like, I'm not giving him credit. So in-game adjustments are different. In-game adjustments are you go to something that you haven't done yet and you're like, hey, let's try this. Let's do this differently because, whatever we're doing now isn't working. The fucking running game was working.
We just didn't use it.
You chose to go away from it. Right. So I'm not going to give you credit for going back to it. Like you should have never went away from it. So it just drives me insane that people are like, oh, we got to give him credit for the second half. No, I don't. Absolutely not. So
Bill's nicknamed up for vote, Joaquin Wounded or Jekyll and Hyde. It's really been Jekyll and Hyde.
It's been like that, bro. Really, honestly, man, it's been like that for, let's be real, even without Ken Dorsey. It's our team's so weird.
Zappy on his dirty DVDs.
I know, right?
That's great.
The Zappy man.
Giants one of the worst run defenses in the field. Game plan, pass.
I still think though Zappy might be either on the same level as Mac. I mean, from what I saw, Mac Jones ain't much better. He ain't much better.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but you know what? Daboll did the same crap, Spen. The game plan.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's rainy and windy. Let's just throw the ball.
Did it all the time.
Yeah. So
did it all the time.
Who did Dorsey learn from? Daboll.
Yeah. I told you guys, go back, watch old, 2021 Mafia Sports Report when we were talking about Brian Daboll's like on bad games, like the Jaguar game, whatever bad games we played. You're going to hear a lot of what the fuck was Daboll. Go back on Twitter years ago. Right. You're going to see Why was he throwing it on 3rd and 1, 35 yards? Like
Get the
there's a
first
lot
down,
of
move the
plays.
chain. Just
Yeah,
move the
dude,
chains.
Dable was hard-headed too.
Yeah.
He also was really bad at in-game adjustments. I used to hate going into the second half, Mikey, when Dable was our OC, because I knew that defensive coordinators, like when we were going against better teams, would do their adjustments, and I knew that Dable would not do his, and that's usually, remember, we would always have these second half where we would just not score.
The
come
third
out like
quarter.
shit.
The third quarter
It was a
lull, and then we would
disaster.
fourth quarter we would come back.
Right, like it's like, oh man. So yeah, Dable drove me nuts too, man.
Remember McDermott encouraging Dable to run the ball more, yeah, and not make Josh run it. That was the thing. It wasn't even that we cared that we wanted him to run the ball. We just wanted our quarterback to stop doing, quarterback powers or quarterback draws. Oh God, I hated the quarterback draw. And now they went from a quarterback draw to a shotgun draw.
That. Yeah,
no, now it's just a shotgun draw.
Yeah, which is even worse. I don't get that. I just don't get it. It doesn't work. It doesn't even fool the defenses. Like they see it's like slow motion to them. They see everything that's happening. They know you're not. They see that you're not handing the ball. You're right there. Your back isn't turned. Like when you were, if you're under center, when you turn your back, they don't know where the exchange is at. When you're in shotgun draw, you have it. He's either going to take you. They know where the football's at.
Well, not only that, but that shotgun play action. Yeah, and the shotgun play action hasn't been good. Like neither one of them sell it. Neither one of them sell it.
It doesn't work, Mikey. It doesn't. I'm telling you, it doesn't work.
Spence says, "Am I the only one that wants Josh to run more? I want Josh to run more, but I want him to run smart.
Exactly.
Don't hesitate. Just go. But then if you guys are closing on you, get down. It's okay. Pick up 4, 5, 6, 7 yard slide. Get out of bounds. Do whatever you got to do. Just don't take the hits. But please, that was one of the things that made him so special.
Yep. So my key, by the way, is the same as last week, Mikey. To start the game, to lead the game with Murray as RB1. Not saying that to get more carries than Cook, but to lead off the first couple series with Murray, and then sprinkle in Cook and get Cook going. Because now you only have 2 backs, right? Like I know they got what's his name up, but I don't know if he'll be used as a running back in this game.
Johnson.
Yeah. So it's going to be the Murray and Cook show. So if that's going to be the deal, Murray now, I expect him to have way more than 5 carries, only because I understand before you got to split him with Harris a little bit. But I think if me personal, I think Murray should have at least 10 carries, and you should have at least 12 to 15 for Cook. That would be perfect. That's how I want to see it.
Yeah, we should be between 20 and 25 carries a game.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and you got the guys that listen, Murray can still do it. So get Murray going early and get Cook going somewhere in the first quarter there, and then have him close the show. And even if you have to have Ty Johnson finish it out, if you want Ty to come in the fourth quarter like a Harris, whatever, you know what I mean? Because he'll be fresh. Fine. You know what I mean? But that's how I want to see it. We'll see if they play it like that.
Connor says send Gabe and 2 first-round picks for Devontae Adams.
Nope. Wouldn't do it.
I could see sending 1.
I want to send 2 first-round picks.
Yeah,
that's
well. First off, you're taking on the contract. Only way you're sending 2 first-round picks is if they're paying the entire contract, and you're getting them basically for free. That's the only way.
They'd have to pay for. Yeah, and even that, I'm still skeptical. Even that, I'm still hesitant, actually. So what I would do, and you're giving up Gabe Davis. Like, bro, Gabe Davis is still a pretty decent receiver. Like, I would do maybe a first and a third, maybe. Something like that. So a 2025 third round.
And on more of the contract, right?
But they would have to take on like 75% of the contract. Like, they'd have to eat a good chunk of the contract to make that work for both teams to come out fair. Because we're not eating that contract and giving them 2 first-round picks and Gabe Davis on top of it. No. I don't want it. Listen, I like the trade minus the Gabe Davis, except for the 2 first. So I would give them a first and a third if they eat some of the contract. No Gabe Davis. I think the Gabe Davis part, I think we got to keep out of the conversation. I'm telling you guys that would be a mistake.
Yeah,
I don't think. Why would they want him? Why would they want? I don't think they would even like.
No, because Jacoby would be their wide receiver 1.
Right. It wouldn't even make sense.
I don't think Brandon Beane would trade him anyways. They love Gabe here. And he talks about him all the time. He's a team captain. We're not trading a team captain, guys. It's just not happening.
Exactly.
I thought the idea of signing Harris and Murray was so Josh didn't have to run much. It's not that I need him to, the whole point of signing Harris and Murray here was so Josh would stop running those power quarterback runs.
Exactly.
What
the short yardage.
What I'd like to see Josh do is when he's scrambling, instead of trying to fit a ball in between 3 guys, run for the 7 yards. Get the first down, slide, and be done with it.
Right.
Move the sticks. Don't be so hesitant on the short scramble runs. I don't want to see any more called runs. I just want to see I just want to see him bring back the scramble runs. He does it sometimes, but he doesn't do it a lot.
And we got Harris and Murray also for goal line situations. If you remember, Josh Allen was everything on goal line for us last year. So they wanted to stop that and get a power back to get in the end zone. Which, by the way, it's worked. Murray's gotten in the end zone a few times.
Yeah,
this season. So
Harris has got in.
Yeah, so it's fine. I totally am cool with what they did. What their plan was. My worry, though, and of course, obviously injuries happen. Was I did tell you guys, Harris is a hell of a player. He's a good player when healthy. Problem is, he just has either bad luck or whatever it is. Just can't stay on the field, and it's been that way throughout his career, and it sucks. And I feel for the guy, but here we are, and I talked about this, Mike. I did, and I said, will he last the season with us? That's the problem. And look, here we are. He's already on missing 4 weeks. You know what I mean? And he was hurt in the preseason. So that's the problem with some of these guys we're signing. They're 1-year contracts for a reason. Some of these guys, what I mean? I thought Murray's 1-year contract was fucking smart. You know what I mean? A guy that hasn't been hurt. The guy that still has something left in the tank. That guy's working out.
He definitely has stuff left.
You know what I mean? That. So imagine we don't sign. Let's say we don't get Murray. You got Harrison. Now we're in deep shit. You know what I mean? So thank God we picked Murray up.
We would have found a way to sign Fournette.
No, I know, but that was a good pickup. Yeah. We would have had to go get Fournette or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Then Fournette would have been in play.
I like Murray from a leadership standpoint. He has a very 100%. Calming influence, especially on Josh. Josh talks about him all the time. He loves him. Bill's Fever comes in and says a third and a conditional first if we make the Super Bowl. If not, then a second. Yeah, remember Adams is 31 and he's expensive. I'd be okay with a conditional, but conditions around the trades. That's fine with me too.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would do the make Super Bowl. It would be based off of playing time or all pros or first teams. But
we're in week 7. I don't know what kind of other incentives they can get. So it's kind of midway through the season.
Yeah. It would be it would probably be if we made the playoffs.
Right.
Then yeah. But I don't think they would take the Super Bowl thing because that's just such a crapshoot once you get in.
Yeah, that's too much of a risk play. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts on Ed not playing this week and Milano and Daquan? We talked about this earlier, Connor. We thought it was a good call of not playing Ed this week. We turn around and play Thursday night, so it's a short turnaround. The way the Patriots offense is running, I have a feeling the guys that we have are going to be better fit anyways from a run standpoint. And then Milano and Daquan, the fact that they even have windows of possibility to come back is awesome.
Yep.
We've not heard about the struggles from Milano and the surgeries. They both had surgery. They both had surgery already. They're both on recoveries. Neither one of them they're both on IR designated to return. So they both have the option to come back.
So that's good on Milano, by the way, because no ACL, nothing. I heard it. So it was just a fracture. And that's the reason why he has a possibility of returning for the late season or playoffs. Jones, the pec, so we'll see how that rides, man.
Oh, that's a good one. I would absolutely give up 2 first-round picks to go up and get Marvin Harrison Jr. I have a feeling you would need the package like what the 49ers did and give up 3 plus some other stuff to go up to get him. He's gonna be one of those guys that is gonna be
worth
the prospect.
Worth it to make a move like that.
The bloodline, the production, the size, the speed, everything about him screams superstar in the NFL.
Yep, The jeans.
You know,
right.
you know, the jeans. Yeah. You know, from what I understand, no. From what I understand, those
You
all
got
his ligaments
lucky.
were
Yeah,
good.
you got lucky.
It was just the fracture. I haven't read anything on it. From just the rumors I've heard is I don't think they've officially said anything. Have they officially come out and talked about it?
I
think
have
it
not
just
heard.
I think it was just, and then they wouldn't
You would
throw
figure they
people
would
on them.
have. Yeah, I heard nothing about it.
Yeah, it would take way more to move up that far. Yeah, it would for us to get up that high. All right, Tommy, score prediction time, buddy.
Oh, these are rough. Normally, I'd be like 40-3. I mean,
do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say the Bills get back on track this week. It's gonna be 34-13.
I'm not even giving them 13. Like that's for sure. I'm not giving them that because they haven't. I think.
Well,
they've
we always
scored
have a leaky long run. That always happens against us.
I know, but they're
run.
so beat up, and their offense is playing like shit the
that's
last 2
fine.
weeks. I don't even. I think they scored. I think they scored 0. What did they score against Cal? I think 0, right?
Cowboys, yeah, they got blanked.
And then I think they scored 3 last week. Am I not mistaken? All right, so I'm gonna say
34-14. I need Stevenson to get 2 TDs.
God,
that's great, man.
This is rough. Okay, I'm gonna say the offense gets back on track. God, shouldn't do this, Mikey. I shouldn't. 40.
Go with your guts. Go with your gut. Go with whatever
40,
your gut's telling you.
40-9.
Woo! I don't think we're gonna get that back on track. I think it's
I'm being optimistic. Remember, I'm wearing my beast mode jersey.
That's right.
We're going beast mode, guys. Okay, so
9-9 nothing, baby. 9-9 nothing.
Now, if we go post game and we win 17-15 or something, I'm gonna be tearing my fucking jersey off.
34-14, Jason says. 87-3.
87.
Oh.
Yeah, we break
Scott,
the
that's not
all-time
even
scoring
funny.
record.
Scott, you're going on timeout.
Scott went from 99-0 undefeated to us losing.
Thought I'd miss extra point. Oh, God. It's been 2 weeks, buddy.
God.
Just give it time. It's ebbs and flows of the season. It's ebbs and flows of the season. 31-10 Bills. Hot take. Group plays D tackle. I think he's going to play a lot of D tackle, especially if we can get a lead on them and turn them into just a passing offense, make them one dimensional. I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of that NASCAR package.
Yep.
Watch it be a shutout. The Bills going to blank them. I could see that. Possible. This Bills team's been freaking good, man.
It's possible. I mean, yeah.
I can see it being my offensive score and Tommy's defensive score. I can see him kicking 3 field goals and us scoring 34. I mean 34-9. I can see that too.
There we go.
It's just one of those things. Scott misses extra point, but gets a safety on the past 2-point try. Oh God. Bass, 4 70-yard field goals. There we go, Tommy.
Right. Yeah.
You guys were talking about letting him kick 70-yarders, and then he comes out and misses 2 53s.
Terrible. I'll never talk about Bass again in this podcast kicking off. We jinxed him.
You did. I'm like, I can let him kick it, 63, 64, 65 max. You're like, let him go 70. And he misses a 53. Wide right twice. Against the Giants, wide right twice.
Killing, I know. Oh my God, bring him back.
Might be breezy. No Bass 50-yarders. I don't even want us to make him have to kick a 50-yarder. I want the offense to get score touchdowns, not kick field goals.
Right.
That's what I want to see. So it'll be one of those things. All right, Tommy. What's on tap for the rest of the week?
All right. Tomorrow, you and Howie, correct? Your guys are back in action. All right. So at 2 o'clock tomorrow, is the Fantasy Kingdom. It's for all you fantasy football nerds out there. Mikey and Howie will be on at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then at 6 o'clock, AFC East Shakedown. And the boys are back. Trevor, Juan, Curtis from Ace Burhead, and Kevin from Jedi Sports Network. We're going to be talking about all the AFC East matchups, and that'll be on my channel, on Mafia Sports Report. And then Sunday, we'll be doing the post game at 4:30-ish. And then that's it. We'll be here Monday again for the Mafia Sports Report show at 9:30.
Monday's show, just remember Monday's show, because it's a Thursday night game. Monday's show will be our preview for Thursday night.
Oh, that's right. You're right. So that'll be cool. Yeah, that'll be different. So there we go. All right, guys. So, man, the chat was great tonight. Appreciate all y'all, man, for sticking with us. And as always, Bills Mafia, we love you. And as always, go Bills. We're out of here.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.